Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Lolly and I want to talk about scoring, folding, and burnishing paper today. I am mostly a paper crafter, and so paper is my passion. So over the centuries, paper has been made from a wide variety of materials like cotton, wheat straw, sugarcane waste, flax, bamboo, linen rags, etc. But regardless of what source the paper is made from, you need some sort of fiber in here. Mostly paper has been made out of wood in recent years, and we call it cellulose, or also recycled paper products can give us fiber as well. So fiber strands, imagine like a big pile of like toothpicks, only softer so that they could bend. Machine milled paper, as you can see from this photo on the right, the fibers are more lined up almost like vertically, and it creates a natural bend or grain in the paper. For hand milled paper, like the picture on the left, fibers are more random, making your paper lie flat. So how to tell if a paper has grain to it? It helps to have a paper that is the same width and height in their dimensions, or width and length, I should say. If I just put my hand right under the middle of this, you can see how it has this bend here. And if I keep doing this every time, and it always bends that way, which it does, then it shows me the fibers are pretty much going this way. And so in that case, you would, if you're scoring, you'd want to go with the grain like this if possible. The design doesn't always permit you to do that. So paper scoring is the process of putting an indent or a crease in the paper so that it will fold more easily. So when I started, I was using a cutting mat, a ruler. I was either measuring or using the grids on the cutting mat, and this is my first bone folder right here. And so that makes a nice little indentation or crease that we call a valley. You can almost feel it. And the back has a little bit of a raised area, or what we call a mountain. You're going to need to remember that, and I will show you pictures later too. In order to score, you don't have to have a lot of fancy tools, but I do recommend a bone folder or a ball stylus. This works really well too, but you don't want a really super skinny one that is going to perforate the paper. So your bone folder, and I don't know what this one is made out of. I have had it for years. Most of them are made of plastic or Teflon now. My favorite bone folders, hard to say. I do like the ball stylus. That is on my favorite scoring board, which is the Caterpillar crease, and I will give you a video down below showing my favorite scoreboard for large projects. For mini projects, I just use this little Dress My Craft one. It comes with its own bone folder. So I actually consider my favorite bone folder to be two different items, one for scoring and one for burnishing. So I like to get my score in there, but then once I fold it, and we are going to fold away from the indentation, I like to burnish it. I love this. This is a nice wide edge. And so what we're doing in this scoring is preparing the paper to fold evenly and crisply. It is adjusting the fibers in that paper so that they can bend, and then the burnishing compresses those fibers and gives a smooth, crisp fold. It also makes the paper stronger because right there it's stronger than it is right here. So for a bone folder, I like it to have sharpness, which the Teflon ones are too dull for me. They're too wide and create too wide of a valley on my paper. But I don't want it so sharp that it tears my paper. My very first scoring board came with a scoring tool, which we call a bone folder, but it really is a scoring tool. And it was so sharp that it would tear the paper. So everyone I knew always threw that away and just used their own. This has been my favorite bone folder for years, and I used to carry it in my shop. The manufacturer does not make it anymore. It was perfect, it was lightweight, it was smooth, and the end was just the right width and sharpness without tearing the paper. It made a perfect crease, and the benefit is that this flat end I could use to then burnish. I don't like bone folders that are all rounded everywhere. because in order to burnish, you need a flat end. And so I would end up doing this, but it just seems a little more clunky and not as good of a hold. Most of the Teflon folders are rounded here, making it hard to really get a good seal there, a good burnish. But I have actually filed a couple of mine down so that I could get I could use that flat end to do this. I love this for burnishing, but it's not a really great point for actually scoring. So you have to kind of play around and figure out what tools work with you, what feels good in your hand. Some tools you aren't going to like the feel of them in your hand. Let's review the fold again. So let's come back here and use an actual scoring board. Scoring boards are great because when you line up your cardstock to the top and left, you have measurements across. And if you want a 3-inch fold, you put this in the rut and pull it down. Now, as I said, this creates a valley. Pushing down creates a valley. That valley is an indentation, as you can see in this photo here. You can barely see it here, but if you look, you can see right there how it made a mountain on the back side here. So this is an image again of what the mountain looks like. So if your paper is upside down and you can see that mountain ridge, then you fold the edges of the paper up toward the mountain like this. And then you will want to smooth that out. I'm going to use my favorite tool here for that. Perfect crisp edges. Having a scoreboard, the beauty is that when I used to do my own measurements, I would mark 3 inches in, put a check mark there, mark 3 inches in, put a mark there, and I would line the ruler up with those items and score. Many times I was just completely crooked in my scoring. So this makes a really good score. And I think you're going to love doing that. So let's come back to this. As I said, we have a natural bend here, right there. So technically we should score with the grain, but it isn't always possible. Here's the disclaimer. You can't always score with the grain. If you're making a long box, you're going to score this way and that way. Sometimes the design, you want your design going this way and you want to be able to score this way. So do it. Craft and enjoy. I am not very particular myself about making sure that I always score with the grain. I really don't even pay attention to that anymore. But what I do pay attention to is making valleys into mountains, mountains into valleys, and using good tools. Please take a moment to subscribe to my channel for more tutorials and helpful craft hints. Here is the Caterpillar crease scoring board that I was telling you about with the nice, perfectly sized ball stylus there for scoring. So those are my favorite tools. Love working with all these things, and I think you will find your perfect place with your perfect tools. Let me know what you think in the comments, and did you find this helpful?